We don't advocate any of our members breaking any laws.
But some do.
Well, you must understand that. Being in a cult like the federal government.
Justin, the order is absolutely incredible. It had me on the edge of my seat for the full hour and 55 minutes. It was such an intense ride. Now, this film is set in the 1980s, but definitely has a lot of modern day relevancy. The relationship between Husk and Bob Matthews serves as a central theme. How did you capture the duality and contrasting traits of these two leaders on screen?
Well, a lot of it was sort of the dynamic between Nick and Jude and sort of what they both brought to those roles. But, you know, we were sort of fascinated that both of them were investigating each other. Like, you know, usually it's one investigating the other. And I found that really intriguing as to kind of what both of them sort of thought about each other and anticipated about each other. There was something in Huss that could understand and see the fate of Bob Matthews, and there was something in Bob Matthews that was desperately trying to, I guess, anticipate and sort of prejudged who this man is that's going to take him down. So there was a lot of kind of push and pull between that relationship that I found really exciting in the script.
Now, Jude highlighted your finely attuned radar for honesty in portraying characters. Can you talk about your approach to finding and depicting the truth in each of these characters in the film?
Yeah, I think it's just trying to ground it. You know, I think you know, especially someone like Nick's character, Bob Matthews, you can kind of be quite overwhelmed by the fact that it's based on a real person and you know, a person that's committed some pretty horrific acts. So you've got to find a way in which you can sort of see them in a community and sort of visualize them, you know, with their family and kind of try to kind of get an understanding as to kind of, you know, what their everyday is. So that's sort of real key. We do these. I do these little manifestos with actors, and with those two, it's all about kind of to do things. You know, like what can you do that kind of gets you a little closer to the kind of character that you're playing. So those two kind of followed each other for like a day and watched each other and, you know, without the other one kind of knowing. And even just, you know, it sounds a bit silly, but even just the simple act of that really kind of focuses them on kind of what that point of view is and what that sort of feeling is in terms of sort of, you know, having someone else in your life and sort of judging every moment of them and, you know, having to kind of keep tabs on them and kind of what that kind of energy and that focus is, you know, can be a real key.
Now, this question won't come out until after the film's out because it's a little spoilery, but I wanted to ask anyway. There's a fascinating dynamic between a hunter and prey here. And in the hunting scene, why does Husk hesitate to shoot the deer? And was Bob's intention only to observe Husk, or would he have used Husk's gunshot to cover shooting a shot off that he fired?
I don't know if I feel like answering that because there's a really lovely bit of ambiguity about how that sort of scene plays out. And kind of like, look, what I will say is that, you know, that Husk is an outlier in that place. You know, he comes to that place and is kind of intimidated and in awe of just the majesty of it. You know, I mean, he sort of spent all his time in New York, and this is really supposed to be a kind of like life change for him. And I think that there's these sort of pursuits that he thinks he's going to do. And he, you know, this is a guy that's, you know, chased the mob and, you know, gunned down all sorts of people and kind of, you know, he's definitely kind of alpha character. But there's something about seeing something so beautiful and majestic and extraordinary as that elk is, and they are. They're just, and especially in that environment, that there is a feeling of whether he wants to disturb that, and you know, and Bob watches that and makes his own kind of judgment about that, which may or may not have shifted what he was going to do in that moment. And I liked how Bob was, you know, maybe underestimating in that moment, you know, Husk. So there's a few things going on there, but I don't think I would probably nail it down to any one thing.
Well, Justin, you did such a fantastic job with this film. And I feel like in this film especially, I understood what the power of silence in some of your scenes as well. But incredible job, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks,
really appreciate it.
Really appreciate talking to you. Thank you.
This terrorist group of yours have a name?
In the book, they're called The Order.
Defeat. Victory.